I got 10 houseplants that I'm here to show you today that I found out that they are very great for beginners because they are my true OGs, which are original gangstas in my houseplant collection because they've been with me through the beginning. The first one is the original gangsta in the plant world. Everybody knows about POTHOS. I have so many of these. Look at that, this is just one of them. It's a different variety. This one can go really dry. You can accidentally forget about it for a while, but you do gotta water it though. But you can accidentally forget to water it a little while and it will still keep growing. They do very well in low light. They do very well in bright indirect light. No, all I say is no direct sunlight, but have I tested that out? Yes, I have. I have put them out in the front last year and the leaves were going yellow and I didn't understand why. It was because that was no direct sunlight. That was not a good idea. But did it survive? It did. It really did. It's a trooper. It's an OG. It really is. This plant can handle a beating, I tell you. So, number one, POTHOS. You got to give it up to the POTHOS family. The number 2 spot for hard to kill, super easy to take care of plant is the snake plant family. That would be the SANSEVIERIA family. Sansevierias, they come in all variety of sizes. I have here one size. Isn't it so cute? I love this one. This one had a serious growth spurt this summer. The Sansevierias are in the succulent family, so they do not require a lot of water. You can skip a crap load of waterings and it'll be okay. They'll still survive. You still gotta water them, but like once a month or something. It's crazy. This also is known as what? Mother-in-law's tongue. This is my other snake plant. I also have I have 2 big ones, 2 large ones of these, and I have a few small ones around the house. I have a tendency of keeping my plants on the dry side because in Pennsylvania, it is ridiculously humid. So them freaking gnats, doesn't matter what I do, they will always be here. They're outside just hovering like crazy. So I like to keep my plants on the dry side. Plant number 3. These are called the arrowhead plants because if you notice, their leaves look like an arrow. Look how shiny and pretty these leaves are. I've almost killed them, but they can take a beating. You can forget to water them. They can just, I know, and they're not in the succulent family. They're just a regular good old plant, but they can handle skipping a few waters. They don't mind being dry. I wouldn't always keep them dry, dry to the bone, but they can handle a drought, okay? That's basically what I'm saying. If you forget to water a few times, look, because this one, perfect example, I forgot to water this one for a while. As you can see, it's going a little, you got some crunchy leaves, so I forgot to. But look at it, once I did water it again, it's gorgeous. It keeps coming back, like no matter what you do. And they are low light friendly. Well, they can tolerate low levels of light. Low light levels. Okay, well, they can tolerate low light. It's gotta be sunlight, but low, okay? Okay, plant number 4 that is ridiculously easy to take care of and super hard to kill is to me, a yucca plant. Now, it pains me to even have to discuss how to pronounce the yucca plant. People call it yucca. We call it yucca. That's what we call it. So this yucca plant is super easy to take care of. Being that this is a desert plant, technically, you can withstand, you can forget about watering it for a while and it'll be all right. Just like the snake plant. Being that these are desert plants, they can withstand going, long periods of time without ever being watered because they're drought stable, they can withstand droughts, drought hardy. I don't know if I'm saying that right. These plants can handle bright light. I have them bright indirect and I also have them bright direct. They can get acclimated to both. They are super easy to care for because I forget all about them. I forget that they exist. Okay, number 4, crotons. They have other different names and they come in all different variegations and different prints. Prints? That sounds like it's like a different print of a sneaker or a different print of a shoe. Different variegations, different striations, different colors. Depending on the amount of light that you give these crotons is the amount of color that you'll get out of them, I believe. So, but they can withstand super amounts of neglect. I couldn't believe it. It has been around for so long. It has gone to the point in the beginning of my plant journey. I had it down to 1 leaf. Yo, 1 leaf. And I brought it back. Now these crotons can tolerate dry ass conditions. They really can. But they will wilt and frown, they will wilt and go down the leaves. That will, indicate that you need to water. When I see those leaves wilting and going down, that's when I personally water them because I keep my plants a little bit on the dry side. So when this one goes down and wilts a bit, I give it a drink of water. But look at it. Being that I like to keep my plants relatively on the dry side, considering I am in Pennsylvania and these gnats are crazy out here, no matter what I do, no matter what, anything, I can't get rid of these gnats completely at all. It's so humid in this state, it's ridiculous. And I can walk outside and be smacked in the face with a bunch of gnats and flies and shit. Anyway, plant number 5, these ZZ plants. Hold on, let me back it up. There we go. You see it? Let me get this plant out of the way. Bam. The ZZ plants. Isn't it cute? This one had a growth spurt this summer. These ZZ plants are really good houseplants. Not only can they tolerate low lights, they do great in bright light. They can even do direct sunlight. These plants come from Africa, so they can handle the heat, they can handle the sun, they can handle the dry conditions. I'm loving it. I'm loving these houseplants because you can forget to water these like what, a water or 3 or 4, and they'll still survive. It can handle low light, it can handle bright light. It loves to be dry. We're doing all right. This one is an awesome plant to keep in your household, and I love them. These are, well, I had before I started trading houseplants. I had tons of these. Okay, plant 7 is the Dracaena plant. Dracaena marginata, Dracaena Madagascar. There's a few varieties of them, and I'm gonna show you 2 ways on what they could look like. One in its best condition and one in a crappy condition that I'm trying to save. This plant needs a lot of light, but it can tolerate pretty low conditions. I mean, I wouldn't do it for a while, but if you want to see what this plant looks like in its worst condition, that is what it looks like. It is very on a palish green side, but it's still alive, so I know I can bring these back with no problem. The plant in its best condition is that big one right there. This plant is just beautiful. It is loving it. This is a south-facing bedroom, so I get tons of light in this room. So this is an awesome room. So Dracaenas are really good. You saw how great that top one was in its best condition, but this is what it looks like when it's struggling a little bit. Peace lilies, in the beginning they were a little tricky for me because they kind of go down and they go up, but it was a learning curve for me. But once I got the hang of it, that was a little dry piece, whoops. Once I got the hang of it, they are pretty good. I made the mistake of putting them in bright light. Don't do that. Don't do that. This plant loves medium to low light. As I found out, they do not like bright light. That did not work, and it killed off my flowers. That was my fault. Totally my fault. So, but it's still alive, and I brought it back, and it's looking pretty darn good, if I don't say so myself, from bringing it back. Too, they do like to be a little more on the moist side. Peace lilies, I gotta say, they do like to be watered. So this one I have to pay attention to a little more than the dry, drought, desert looking ones. But this is one of those medium to low light, and you could just kind of leave it there and let it do its thing. It doesn't really bother anything. Medium, low light, and I want to say, you know, water it. But if you accidentally skip a watering, you'll be all right. Other than that, you just kind of like set it and forget it for a little while. No? Peace lily. It's not that bad. If you like this video, please give it a like button, press, boop, just like that. That would be super awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I drop a video every week, and it ranges from houseplants to gardening. And I'm on Facebook all the time. I post there daily, and that is where the humor part of it all comes through. Plant number 8 is, I want to say this is more like a plant family instead of just one particular plant. But for me, I thought was the peperomia family. I grew to love peperomias because of they are, you know, they can withstand a lot. I tell you, they can really handle being dry. Not that I want to keep them all dry at all times, but if I was to miss a watering or two, they can handle it. They really could. And I have different varieties. I don't know what this one is. If you know, drop in the comments. I know I'm a bad plant mom. I get it. But I have a few other peperomias. Of course, this one is the tried and true watermelon peperomia. Okay, this one has gone dry plenty of times. These two, plenty of times. They can stand bright indirect sunlight, or they can go drop down to a medium. They do need some decent amount of light. There has been a week or two that I have had to keep them in a low light situation, but you know, medium light, it can do pretty good. And then you can accidentally forget again to water them 1 or 2 times. No more than, I want to say no more than twice, because most of these plants are no more than twice, unless they are, you know, a desert plant like the yucca or the snake plant. But all the other plants, this can withstand to miss a watering, max 2. Look who I found on my Monstera plant. Damn you stink bugs. And my 10th plant, my favoriteest plant, is the Monstera deliciosa. Now, some people would argue that this plant is not easy to take care of, but I gotta say, I beg to differ. This plant to me is super easy. Why? It can withstand being, you know, forgotten for at least, you know, a good while. I've always wanted one of these plants since they started trending in the beginning when they first went wild for Monsteras. I love that fenestration. I love the way it looks. It's just everything about it. It's beautiful. But anyway, this plant loves bright light. However, they do not like bright direct. No, I've burnt the plant. It will survive and bounce back, but you gotta remove it from the bright light. Bright indirect light, indirect, all of it. But it can tolerate medium light because I have one, as you'll see, in my living room and in my, I have one in my living room that is in a decent amount of light and is doing pretty good. So I can't complain. This plant is actually a tropical one, so I'm surprised that it can handle, you know, going dry for a while. Well, to me, it tolerates, you know, going dry for a while. I thought it would be suffering, but no, not that it likes being dry, but it can tolerate being dry. It doesn't like wet feet either though. I do have a soft spot for tropicals. I am a tropical gal, so I love my tropical plants. So, as usual, I love to chill with you guys and talk all things green, from gardening to house plants. So try them out, check them out. Thanks for chilling with me. And I hope to see you guys next week. Until then, peace and love. This plant this plant I gotta dust. Dust your leaves. This one is dusty. Oh my goodness. This one's a new one, so it's extra shiny. Isn't it pretty?